Debt addiction isn't just about mismanagement of money, but it's about behavioral and emotional dependency, and it closely resembles other known addictions. Welcome back to Adrian's Avenue. I'm so glad you're here. And here we talk about real money, real life, and building real wealth. And today's topic is going to be something of a serious nature, and that's about debt addiction. There is such a thing as debt addiction, and it's not just casually spending or overspending, but this is something that people have. It's like a disease when it comes to spending money and hiding it and doing things like that. We're going to talk about those characteristics so you can see whether or not you know someone or even if you may fit into this. Unfortunately, there are different addictions out there, such as sugar addiction. Most of us have sugar addiction, and we don't realize we have it until somebody actually points it out to us, or if we're around someone who doesn't crave sugar like another person does. They may see that every time we stop, they're wanting something sweet, candy, cakes, donuts, sugary drinks, all of that, and they can kind of see that this person is addicted to sugar, even though they don't know that they're addicted to sugar. And at most points in times, most of us, I've been addicted to sugar before and didn't know I had that craving going on. And just like there's addictions to sugar and other substances, there's also a thing called debt addiction, where people know that it's harmful to continue spending, harmful to their family, harmful to them to continue spending. However, they crave spending, crave borrowing, even though they continue to do it, and it gets worse and worse and worse. They are addicted to debt. Another characteristic is that they will justify or deny it, such as saying things like, I deserve it, I work hard, I'll pay for that next month. You know, this is something that's on sale, so let me just go ahead and get it. Even though they are overspending and don't really need whatever it is that they're buying, that they will justify the reason that they're buying this is because something, upon themselves, or they will just justify, I can buy it because of this reason, because of that reason. However, they're getting further and further into debt. They're really not purchasing it. They're purchasing it on credit cards, on time, or something like that. They're not paying cash. It's just an addiction that continues to grow and grow and grow, just like substance abuse. Another characteristic that mirrors other addictions is lying about something or hiding something. If you have to hide the packages from bringing them into the house from your husband or your wife, whoever, you have to hide it, or hiding receipts, or not telling the truth about where you went, or not telling the truth about what you bought when you went out to a person that you may be accountable to, that may be another characteristic of debt addiction. Why are you hiding these things? If it's okay to buy, just say I bought this or I bought that. But if you're going out every day, every week, or with the friends and spending every time they spend, even though you don't have the money, even though your credit card is almost maxed out, you may be addicted to debt. Sometimes the ones addicted to debt will get a budget together, promise themselves, vow to themselves that I'm not going to continue to do this. However, a few weeks go by and they fall off the bandwagon back into that same addiction that they had before. They have good intents when things go wrong, or when they're almost about to lose something. They swear that I'm not going to do this again, put me on a budget, hold me accountable, this, and this. And then next thing you know, they're back into that hole. Once things kind of blow over, things kind of settle down, then they go back into doing the same thing that they were trying to get loose from. And this is a good indication that they may be addicted to debt. I've seen people get totally out of debt, right? However, they still have that credit card. They still don't know how to manage their money. And they start with, let me put this on the credit card because I don't have the cash for it now. Next thing you know, it's $500 on the credit card. Something else comes up. I don't have the money for it. Let me just put it on the credit card. $1,000. That 1,000 grows into 10,000. And it may take, a year and a half, but they can go from $0 to $20,000 in like a year or year and a half, and they're paying the minimum amount that they can on these credit cards. And the only reason they don't use the credit card is because it's maxed out and they can't use the credit card. That may be a great indication that you're addicted to debt. Sometimes before they get that credit card maxed out, they'll go get a second credit card. So it's adding fuel to the fire to keep this going and going and going, realizing that this is not the right direction to go into. And if you don't have the money to buy it, you know, you're barely having the money to make that monthly minimum payment. And the credit card companies are eating you up in interest. And they can actually raise the interest by letting you know they're going to raise the interest. And there's nothing you can do aside from paying it because they've got you. So this is a good indicator that you may be addicted to debt because you can't stop spending on these credit cards. And the last characteristic that I will discuss with you today as far as debt addiction is emotional. Because you want to keep up with the girls, because you feel shameful if you can't do the things that they're doing. Maybe they want to go on a trip and you're always the one that money's a little tight, but you'll pull out the credit card and go ahead and do it because you don't want to be shamed because you can't keep up with the girls. Or if you're sad about something, if you're stressful about something, you pull out the credit card and start using that credit card. It's an emotional roller coaster for you. And this is your addiction. This is your temporary solution to a long-term problem. You know, you don't eat yourself back into something else out of stress. You don't smoke cigarettes or you don't do other drugs, but there is an addiction to spending that you do that's just as bad, just as harmful to you and your family as doing the other stuff. This may be a signal that you are addicted to debt. As you can see in all of these cases, debt has become your coping mechanism. And this is not the people that spend a little and go overboard like at Christmas time, but they get things back up under control and they're able to either pay all the way down their credit card bills and their debt, or they're on a plan to get it paid down and they're working toward that goal. And then sometimes once they get out, they don't go back to doing that again. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about for years and years and years, you continue to spend, you continue to stay in debt. Even if you got it all the way down, if somebody bailed you out, you got it down, you can't seem to keep it up under control. You go right back into that same cycle of spending, overspending, and it getting worse and worse and worse until you're just, you're ready to throw your hands up in the air because you can't afford the bills that you have coming in, as well as the credit cards, the things that you've borrowed on, the things that you're paying on. It's just all coming down on you. However, there is a way out, and that's what we're going to discuss next. But before I get to that breaking the debt addiction cycle, we're going to want you to hit that like button and that subscribe button so that you can stay up to date on the latest information as it becomes available to you. And I also wanted to show you something I do have a new shirt on that I wanted to show you, and I'll just pull it up here for you to see it. That's my new shirt, you guys, Adrian's Avenue. So I haven't released them yet, but I did want you to see them. Tell me what you think about them. Do you like them? I hope you like them. Make a comment down there in the comment area. Now let's talk about breaking free of this cycle, because you can break free. The first step of breaking free is to admit that you do have a problem. You know, whatever kind of addiction that you have to admit it first and realize that there is an issue going on with you. There's a problem that you have. And so you want to get better, but you have to admit it. Just say it out loud that I have a spending problem. I'm addicted to debt. Whatever it is, say it though. You can write it down if you want to, but you need to say it out loud that you are addicted to debt and you want to heal. You want to do something about it. That is the very first step, is acknowledging that there is a problem. No matter what kind of issue you have to acknowledge that there is a problem going on and you're going to need help outside of the things that you're currently doing, because what you're doing is not working. So admit it and let's move forward. The second step I want you to do is get clear on the damages that you've done. And this is not to beat up on you, not so whatsoever, but it's to clarify what's going on with you so you can move forward in the right direction. List the damages that you've done. List all of the bills that you have, all of the monthly payments, all of the interest rates. Write them down. Take the next 30 minutes, hour, whatever you need to write those down and list them side by side by side, so you'll know exactly where you are in your financial statement, in your financial area, in your debt area. You'll know how much debt you have coming in, what you have to focus on to eventually pay off. But you need to see it written down. Some people have no idea how much debt they're in because they never write it down. I'm asking you to write it down so you can see exactly what you have. Next, I want you to identify what triggers you to start spending. Just like an alcoholic shouldn't go to local bars where all the liquor is, because that's going to be a trigger for them. I can say, as far as I'm concerned, when I wanted to stop eating so many sweets, when I wanted to cut back on ice cream, as long as ice cream was not in the house, guess what? I did not want ice cream because I was not going to drive to the store just to get ice cream because I wanted a scoop or two of ice cream. If ice cream was in the house, I would worry about, oh, when should I eat it? Should I eat it now? Should I eat it later? I wonder how much is in there, when I'm going to have to buy some more, all of that, because I had ice cream in the house. It was available to me, right? And so, but once I ate it all or threw it away or whatever I did with it, once it was gone, I didn't have to worry about it. And I can guarantee you, late at night, I'm not going to a grocery store to go try to find some ice cream just because I had a taste for ice cream. So sometimes you have to distance yourself from the things that are the triggers for you. Or if you know, when I get depressed, when I get sad, when I come home from a long day, that's something that's going to urge me to go and spend money. You know, once you know your triggers, find something else to do when that happens. If it happens, don't run to the credit card, don't run to the store, don't run to the mall, don't run to Amazon, because that's an easy run. Go to Amazon, just go to your computer and start buying stuff. Don't do that. Find something else that you can do in place of whatever it is that triggers you to go and spend money. You know, if you're feeling sad, go for a walk in the park, go for a drive, do something different, but don't go to the mall and don't go to Amazon to spend more money. But list each one of your triggers. It may be more than one. You know, maybe the weekend, it may be payday. Sometimes people go crazy on payday. They get their paychecks, and what do? Run out to the mall, go buy a bunch of stuff, go out to eat all weekend, and then before the next paycheck arrives, they're broke. So know what your triggers are and work on your triggers. Do something different than what you've done as far as going out and just spending when you become sad or when you get paid. Now, this next step may be the hardest one you have ever tried to do, but I want you to go. Adrian personally wants you to go on a 30-day detox from spending. What am I saying? I'm saying put down the credit card, put it in water and freeze it. Do whatever you have to do. Cut it off if you want to, but put down the credit card for 30 days. Only use cash to buy whatever it is you need to buy. Pay the bills like you're supposed to be paying your bills. No new credit, no new spending, no new anything for 30 days. You need to get yourself in the habit of not spending money, not going out, you know, spending extra money. Now, the things that are necessary for you to buy, food, utilities, the things that you have to have, you spend on that because that would be something that you would do anyway. But I'm saying going out buying a bunch of new clothes, a bunch of new shoes, purses, whatever it is that you would go buy, you know, outside of just your normal budget, nothing for 30 days, at least 30 days, nothing for 30 days. You need to get into a habit of controlling your spending. And until you make it a habit, it's not going to happen. It needs to be a habit. So 30 days of no spending, you need to get it all out of your system. Detox, get it out of your system. And you will find after 30 days, some of this stuff that you don't even need, you just kind of want it. And then the feeling passes by, you know, and you're going to be okay. You're not going to die. You're going to be okay after the 30 days. But just try it for 30 days. No new spending, no new items on things that you really do not need. And last thing I will tell you about the addictions, sometimes you need to get help. Sometimes you need support, right? So you can get yourself into a community. You can hire a coach, an accountability partner, someone who will help keep you in line, because some people need to be talked to. Some people need to be reminded on a constant basis. No, we're not doing that right now. No, this is what you promised yourself, because they're not able to control some of their habits just on their own. As hard as they will try, they're not able to control it on their own. So if you need to get the additional help, by all means, tell a friend of yours that's reliable, that you know that will hold you accountable, or get into a community group, get into some help group. They have Alcoholics Anonymous for a reason. People come in, they share what they need help with, and then they can get the help that they need because they're surrounded by a supportive group that will help them go in the right direction. So if that's what you need to do, by all means, do what you need to do to stay on the straight and narrow, because you can kick this addiction. And what you're doing when you kick the addiction, you all, is you're giving the power back to yourself. You're telling your money where it should go instead of it leading you, or the credit cards leading you along the way and getting into a bunch of debt and living really a miserable life because you have so much debt to pay off and to pay back. So take your power back. You can do it. It's not going to be easy, especially the Detox program, but you can do it. I have faith in you. You can do it. Drop any comments, any questions down below, and I'll be more than happy to help you with that. And with that, you guys, I will see you in the next video. Have a good day.